Welcome back to the David Glenn Show. Welcome back to the ACC tip-off event in Charlotte. Our next guest is only a sophomore, but he was last year's Kyle Macy National Freshman of the Year. He was the ACC Freshman of the Year. He was the ACC Tournament MVP. He was All-ACC. And, of course, he was an ACC champion. Kyle Filipowski, welcome to the David Glenn Show. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm about 6 feet tall and 185 pounds. And I was in Italy this summer.
Okay.
The showers were too small for me.
Yep.
The doorways were too small for me. Again, 6 feet tall. You're 7 feet-ish and much bigger than I in other ways. Is it more fun or more often a PITA to be your size? I'd probably say it's more often a PITA. I think in certain situations, like large crowds and stuff, it definitely comes in hand with seeing over the crowds and stuff. But that's probably one of the reasons why I never really travel abroad, is because those countries don't have many things that I can work with well. If I were your buddy at Duke and we wanted to meet up and it was chaotic, you could just say, DG, look for me, and help.
Yep.
I like that. You're looking at the plus side. I like
exactly.
that. How about airplanes, beds, showers, stuff like that? Like the shower head hit my head in Italy at 6 feet.
No, I'm basically in a defensive stance when I'm showering. It's that difficult, and don't even get me started with the airplanes.
Last year, 15 points per game, 9 rebounds per game. You lead your team in both of those areas. A lot of folks saw you as an NBA first rounder. Simple question, why come back to Duke rather than realizing that NBA dream 1 year earlier?
I don't want to ever get ahead of myself and look too far in the future where, it messes up what I want to do right now. And I think I just want to do what made me happiest, and that was to stay here for another year. And, doing that, I know I still have a lot more to accomplish here at Duke while I'm still here. Even though I may have these predictions of what I can do in the NBA, I know not to get too ahead of myself.
Guys older than I am, I'm not a senior citizen yet, but you hear the phrase hip surgery all the time with senior citizens. Even our buddy Mike Krzyzewski, right, could tell you about hip surgeries. You're a young man, not even 20 years old yet, right? Mm-hmm. Remind us why you needed hip surgery, who all advised you to go forward to that, and then how close to 100% you are right now, which is roughly 6 months after your surgery?
Yeah. Well, I'm only getting better by the day, and I'm already feeling, right now I would say I'm feeling 100%, but I'm feeling better what I felt like last year before the surgery. So that's why I would say 100%, but at the same time, maybe I don't even know what 100% is yet because I haven't gone there. But all I know is that it's better than when I was before. So it's a great feeling. And I talked over it with my agent and my coaches, trying to figure out what was best for me. Just because, I had a restriction in the range of motion for my hip, so I needed to get my bone shaped down to where the ball fit in the socket and it wasn't, more of a football shape.
I've heard Duke has some talented, skilled medical people, so
I think
you're probably in good hands there.
I am, yes.
Hey, you are from a family of basketball players, right? So aunts and uncles, and I know your brothers at Harvard, but Dad Dave, Mom Becky were also both fairly high-level basketball players. How have they helped your basketball journey over the years?
Yeah, they definitely helped me with taking me to AAU all those nights. Long road trips and stuff, but it's been good because being here, I've been able to kind of just thrive on my own in the college life and college situation. So I've been able to, really be independent and grow here on my own, which has been pretty cool.
I didn't know you at 12 or 15, et cetera, but I assume you were always somewhat tall for your age. Mm-hmm. There was a time years ago that if you were the biggest kid, it'd be get down low, catch the ball, traditional post player, et cetera. Has the world changed enough that even when you were 10, 12, 14, 16, assuming you were always big for your age, that some coach or maybe mom or dad said, no, my son's going to be allowed to play on the perimeter even though he's the biggest guy?
Yeah, I think what helped me the most was having a twin that was a little bigger than me. He was always a little bigger than me, so it was hard because he was kind of the one getting stuck underneath the hoop more than me. Growing up, I just naturally was getting comfortable around the perimeter, shooting threes and stuff. And I've always had that part of my game for some reason, and just kept it with me.
Mom and Dad must have been either smart themselves or helped you guys with the academic side of this whole endeavor, because for those who don't know, twin brother Matthew is at Harvard. Do you guys discuss basketball more, or could his classes be harder than yours, or vice versa?
This is the first time we've really been away from each other,
Yeah.
so we've been able to kind of have our own spotlights, which has been good for us. But I mean, no, we don't really talk much about classes or who's the smarter one. We have plenty of those discussions growing up.
When I introduced you, basically a lot of things that I would have on my checklist to achieve, you've already achieved. Now, obviously, you haven't achieved a national championship. Where is that among your list of goals? As a lot of people are assuming, of course, even if you haven't decided officially, that this is going to be your last year at Duke.
Yeah, national championship is number one, without a doubt. That it's been a dream of mine since I was a little kid. That's probably my first dream since playing basketball is winning a national championship in college. And it wasn't to play in the NBA. Obviously, that's still a dream of mine, but first one that I can remember was the national championship. So just that, and obviously the individual accolades will come along too. Hopefully, with that, with ACC Player of the Year and National Player of the Year, things like that.
I'm old enough to have covered your coach back when he was a player at Duke. Remind me, is number 30 Shire, number 30 Filipowski coincidence, or is there a lot of meaning behind that?
No, there's definitely some meaning behind it. I wanted to wear a number that meant something to me, and I think just being Coach Shire's first commit, for him being head coach, that was definitely something special, and it'll stick with me for the rest of my life, and I'm sure with him as well. And just want to have some significant meaning behind it.
Last thing for Kyle Filipowski, the greatest of all time, you kind of missed by 1 year, right? But he's still around. So what do you get to enjoy of Mike Krzyzewski, even though he's technically not your head coach?
I get to listen to his jokes when he's around. He's a pretty funny guy, and he just enjoys to kind of lay back and observe. And there are times when he definitely does give some advice, but he tries to make it joking as well, so it's not as serious.
Kyle Filipowski, thanks for letting us enjoy you one more year as an ACC basketball player, and thank you for the time on the David Glenn Show.
Absolutely, thank you for having me.
You got it. The 7-footer from Duke, Kyle Filipowski.